Oh boy, guys, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more esports talk. We might have successfully segregated completely North American CSGO from the rest of the world. That being Flashpoint versus others now continuing, ESL being the main culprit, Blast Pro on the sidelines. We now have Thorin, the creative director for Flashpoint, which used to be called B-Site, coming forward yet again, this time on calling out Astralis for being a bit of tricksters behind the scenes as to leading on ESL and both Flashpoint, saying they were kind of trying to sign with both leagues, and of course they have now supposedly signed with ESL instead of Flashpoint. It's actually an exclusive interview I will link down below, brought to us by HLTV, where Thorin has now come out, called Astralis, I would say borderline, liars, mischievous, misleading, as they apparently actually fielded offers from both ESL and Flashpoint. In response, though, the most very, very surprising part, as well as very interesting part, which will continue for future videos, that's going to be Astralis' very own CEO Nikolaj has also responded, calling Thorin a liar about part of the thing he did say in this interview. So first of all, I'll read you guys Thorin's statement. I will link the full interview down below because there's so much to touch on. I will talk about his part, though, where he mentions Astralis apparently fielding offers from both leagues, and to my first response, why would they not, right? Now, the issue here that Thorin's bringing up is maybe committing, at least when it comes time for making promises out there. They promise to commit to one league and then go to the other. They promise to commit to Flashpoint and then join ESL instead. I don't think that's going to be the overall huge issue for CSGO, but that's what Thorin is getting at in his statement on screen for all of you guys as he continues in a very, very long statement. First of all, Astralis is the worst defender. I actually don't believe they were actually genuine or authentic about wanting to be in this particular league. I think they tried to get all the info they could, and that cleverly, for their own interests, they played both the leagues against each other to try and get the best offer they could. In the short term, if you don't have any professional ethics, it was the best thing for Astralis, and just like they did last year with Blast Pro Series, they understood that if you're the #1 team, you kind of set the tone for all other teams, the teams that want to be you, and kind of just follow. You're the leader, and they're going to go where you go, and they'll kind of copy whatever you're doing because they'll think that's what's making you #1. There was a lot of frickery behind the scenes. I was amazed at how many times the players of a top team would tell me, I would like to be involved in this league. It's just that my owner has to make the decision. If he decides to be in the league, it will see you there. And then the people involved in B-Site would be talking to the owners, and they'd go, love the league, love this concept, sounds brilliant, but the thing is, I'll let my players decide. People were being pushed and pulled from the same sides. Now, with all this being said, I think it does spark a great controversy of whether or not Astralis here is lying, right? Did they mislead Flashpoint or ESL at one point or another to try and field both offers? And from the other side of things, you got to ask yourself, why would they not? If they have not legally broken any laws here, why would they not, for their best interest, try and get the best deal from both these leagues, which they probably have, or at least it sounds like from Thorin's perspective. Now, we now have Astralis' CEO Nikolaj also responding, and he had a whirlwind of things to say, which makes me, more so than all of this, the issue at hand right now is whether or not did Astralis lie, did Thorin lie, but I think the bigger issue is also very, very present as I hop into his statements very soon here, guys. Keep in mind, the ultimate part of this, and especially what we'll draw from this Astralis CEO statement from Nikolaj, is the fact is Astralis will be a part of ESL, or so it seems. One of their criteria for joining Flashpoint was they needed 2 other top teams to join with them to give this league some actual weight, right? To give it some credibility. Supposedly that did not happen, and so for me, that's the huge issue. If Astralis is not joining, therefore 2 other top teams are not going to join with them, that means that a lot of those teams are going to be going to ESL, and what do we have right now for Flashpoint? MIBR, Cloud9, Dignitas, some borderline top 25, top 30 teams, and generally speaking, these are North American lineups, generally speaking, and not even the best in North America are now a part of Flashpoint, but the best of the best, they're very clearly in ESL, and that's where I see the huge issue. Either way, though, you guys can leave your thoughts down below. Here's what Nikolaj had to say, Nikolaj, and it's bad. I can live with Thorin's whining, but his lying crosses just one line too many. For the record, bear with my tweet storm, as he does continue. We never spoke to Thorin, that being Astralis, nor would B-Site dare inject him into a conversation with any team. According to B-Site executives, that's formerly B-Site, now Flashpoint, as many of you guys are aware, Thorin is an unstable and deeply troubled character, but a key to winning over the core and has nominally good ideas. So supposedly, they have now called Thorin, that being the executives who hired him as a creative director. This is according to Nikolaj. Not my own words here. They have called him unstable. They've called him other things as well, but they need him because he does have nominally good ideas. Nikolaj does continue. Where Thorin has his truce from is beyond my understanding. Of course, ECS and B-side executives may have oversold our commitment, and Thorin thus led to believe that we were fully committed when we were indeed not. During the fall of 2019, we spoke extensively with ECS and B-side. Our two main concerns were A, ECS poor production execution and falling viewership season over season, and B, the lack of total top teams outside of MIBR. We overcame these concerns, and Astralis signed a term sheet with B-side on December 8th. The term sheet was explicitly conditional upon B-side signing two other top teams to give the league some weight. That those teams would never come through became clear during the Paris meeting of teams in conversation to form a new team-owned league entity to operate ESL Pro League. Astralis Group has an obligation towards our shareholders to make the short and long-term financially best choices. This will always include an unequivocal commitment towards our employees, including our many players, our partners, our fans, and the ecosystem at large. I wish B-side all the best. I do understand that Thorin, however disconcerting an image, mirrors himself in UFC fighters and will count this lapooning. I don't know if I just cussed in a different language. I apologize, guys. While he entertains himself, we'll strive to provide world-class CS and serve our fans and shareholders as we can best. So, holy crap. There is a lot to derive from this, and definitely going to be future videos as well. And I will say, I was going to make this video tomorrow, so I'm sure you guys will see it. Blast Pro is looking all the more the best. Not only with everything they are doing, but staying out of this freaking drama. You now have Thorin calling Astralis liars, saying they had committed supposedly to Flashpoint, now backing out to go to ESL. You know, whether or not be their best business decision, I assume that's what Astralis was going for, trying to make the best choice for themselves financially. Then we have Nikolaj, the Astralis CEO, calling Thorin a liar, saying they were never fully committed, and yeah, they're going to try and field the best offer for whichever league does offer them, you know, that option. And like I said before, where I see it now is the fact that Astralis did back out and supposedly will be going to ESL means that, and they did not meet that clause, that being Flashpoint of having two other top teams join alongside Astralis. That wasn't met, and so what can we expect for the future of Flashpoint and the rest of these teams? It seems like they might be getting a bit fishy, might be getting a bit, I wouldn't say desperate at this time, but got to be close to that, right? If you have not nailed down any top teams by now, and now Astralis in this manner is backing out to join ESL, it seems other teams will be following suit, and I don't know where I stand on this right now. It's very worrying, obviously, and we'll see which side is telling the truth. Obviously, contractually, you know, obviously things can come out sometime soon to prove who is telling the truth and who is not. But if Astralis is not legally bound to join your league and they chose the best choice for themselves instead to join ESL, the fact of whether or not they lied or misled you is not my biggest issue. My biggest issue is the future of CSGO and how this will affect things currently with a lot of committed teams. Not the top teams, but a lot of committed teams to the Flashpoint League who now can't compete in ESL. Until next time, hope you guys all enjoy breaking down esports, gaming, CSGO news every single day, all day long. I hope you all enjoy. I'll leave you with one last message that Thorin did say, so we'll see if he has follow-ups for this.
Nikolaj of Astralis has a Danish name, so if you see it written, it looks like it should be pronounced Nikolaj, so there's a J at the end. But actually, phonetically, you pronounce it Nikolaj. So even his name has a lie hidden in it.